we had seen you pop up backstage at SmackDown. There was that picture on Twitter. How did that go? Were you there to talk about like a return? Were you just there visiting? How did that work out?
I'm just gonna be straight up. I am probably one of the most annoying people in talent relations history because I show up when I'm not booked. I email
Oh,
every week. Yes, I email every week. I give new ideas. They could be the polar opposite ideas. I never stop bugging them, and I haven't stopped doing that since I was Megan Miller in 2014. So they have not got rid of me for 6 years, and I just continued to do that because that's what worked. That's what got me in the door. That's what got me my tryouts. That's what got me on TV. When I kind of debuted against Charlotte on Raw, I took a wild guess at Paul Heyman's email, and I emailed him and asked him to be put on the roster, and it worked. It has always worked. So I showed up at SmackDown that day. Nobody invited me, and I said, "Hello, I'm here. If you want to use me, I've got my gear in my car." And that's the way I will continue to be in any company I work for.
so this was your way of basically just poking them and saying, "I'm good to go. I'm cleared. Hey."
Exactly. And I really think like that's the best way to do it because out of sight, out of mind in wrestling, for the fans and for everyone backstage too, they're no different. If I'm not there and they're not looking at my Instagram pictures and bikinis, how are they going to know I'm alive?
And I had heard like, well, you kind of always hear when a talent's off TV around WrestleMania time. When I ask, at least, because the nature of my job, people will say, probably after Mania. Were you at Mania? Because I've already talked to some of the released wrestlers, and some of them weren't there.
I was not there. However, I didn't push to be there.
Okay.
I knew that with COVID,
Sure.
it was a very weird situation. And I think when it comes to COVID, you just don't want to push it. That's what we've learned, you just don't want to push it or push the wrong button. So I respected their wish for people who are not booked to not be there unless asked. So I didn't show up. And the irony of all this is that yes, I did have my SmackDown outfit ready to go. I was going to show up for SmackDown. So I just put it away right before this interview. I put it back in the closet. But I was ready to go.
So for the SmackDown after Mania, like you were going to pop up there again and be like, hey, what's up? Here I am.
I sent them an email saying, I'm coming. I'm just warning you. I'm coming. I'm going to be there. If you need anyone, if anything last minute comes about, I'm your girl. I will be there with gear in hand.
So it's funny you mentioned that. As we went on the air, I had just put out a report. They were shorthanded on Monday. Like they were very shorthanded and plans changed and all that. Obviously, to somebody like me, I'm looking at that and I'm like, well, it seems like a pretty good way to rectify that is not to release 10 people. But when did you hear anything back from them when you said, I'm going to be at SmackDown after Mania? Now, this is obviously before the release.
No, I didn't. And that honestly, like now I'm like, oh, okay. Well, you probably were waiting to fire me.
Their response was, you will you?
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, bitch, no, you won't, actually. So let's get it done before Friday so her ass doesn't show up.
Oh,
but,
man.
I mean, even like hearing you say like they're shorthanded, like they're not. There's so many amazing talent that's sitting in that locker room every single week, dying to get on TV. So even me being gone, like there was so many other people in my position that had been in that position longer and had been sitting there for more weeks than me.